Hi, everyone, and welcome to our, I was going to say weekly language clinic, but this is a sad day. This will be our last language clinic for a month. not, not forever, don't worry. I'll be taking some time off in August, as will Joe and Tina and the rest of our team. So we'll be back in early September with our next live events, but this is the last one for now. So, let me just explain for everyone watching. I'm here for the next 45 minutes or so to answer all of your questions about learning English. You can ask about anything: grammar, vocabulary, spelling, pronunciation, English exams, writing skills, reading skills, speaking skills, English for work. I could go on. Anything that you can think of, you can ask about. Okay? All you have to do is think of a question, pop it into the comments, and I'll try to answer as many as I can over the next 45 minutes or so. Okay? Uh, as I say, any question is fine. Don't worry about it. Don't think, should I ask this or not? If you have a question, just ask it. Okay? And I'll try and answer them. Uh, on top of that, I would like everyone who's watching to say hi in the comments and tell me where you're watching from, because two reasons. One, every week I just like to keep track of what countries we're reaching. And I also like to say hello to all of our regular viewers who come every week. And two, because I don't know what I'm going. I said next month in August I'm off, but I have no idea yet where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do. I hope I won't spend the whole month sitting at home playing video games or something. So I really want to go away someplace. So when you tell me where you're from and say hi, maybe I'll get some inspiration over where I should go and visit and where I should go and have my holiday. Okay, so say hi in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. And most important of all, think of a question. Okay? I'm sure everyone who's watching has at least one question in their head about something. And just ask it. And if I can answer it, I will. Okay, I can see lots of questions coming in already. Whoa, okay. No problem. Don't slow down. Keep it up. Before we start, I just want to remind you that even when I'm not here, we have lots of resources to help you with your English. Of course, you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, and you know that every day we post fantastic content there with vocabulary and grammar and skills and more. But of course, you can always visit our website if you have a grammar question. Our Learn English Grammar section has every topic that you can think of, from beginner to advanced. Okay, so if grammar is your problem, make sure you check out our website and visit there. If skills are what you're interested in, listening, speaking, reading, or writing, then we have lots of fantastic practice resources and advice in our skills section on our website as well. And these are completely free and they cover every level from beginner to advanced. So, whatever you want to practice is probably there. If you're applying for a job and you want to write your CV or cover letter, it's there. Advice, examples, vocabulary, everything you need to know to do a good job. If you're going on holiday and you just want to practice your speaking and practice some situations that you might get into and you might need English, check out the speaking section. Our videos will have everything that you need. Okay, so while I'm not here in August, you can make use of all of these fantastic free resources and continue practicing. Okay, let me just give a shout out to some countries first before we start. Esra was the first one to arrive from Egypt. Maria, one of our most regular visitors there from Spain. We have Myanmar. We have Hicham in Morocco. Tunwa Elwin in Myanmar as well. Maria Grazia in Italy. Jagdish in India. Julia, another very regular viewer in Myanmar. Gaharebo in Burkina Faso, Alice in Italy, Malik in Uzbekistan, Jagjit in India. Okay, Let's just see if there's any other countries popping up. Poland, we have there. We have Ethiopia, Pakistan, Turkey, Algeria. I'm almost running out. Vietnam, okay. Vietnam's always here, and that's Hati in Vietnam. And what more? Bangladesh, okay, a lot. Italy, okay, we're covering most continents. I need some more people from Latin America to join us. We've only got a couple so far. Um, okay, and I would like to see. I hope some other. We don't seem to have too many from Africa, and only the beginning of East Asia. So hopefully those countries will all join us as we go on. They usually do. Okay. While just for, I know some of you have just joined in the last 30 seconds and are wondering what is he talking about and why is he here. So just to remind you, I'm here. This is not a lesson. I'm just here to answer your questions. Whatever questions you have, ask them in the comments and I will answer. Okay? Anything you want to know. Doesn't matter what it's about. Okay? I will answer. Just before we begin, I'm going to start by just taking a look at a couple of questions. We had some very good questions last week, and I just want to start with those. Okay. I missed the name of the person who asked this question. I'm sorry. But someone last week asked, "Hi Neil, I saw the boy climb the tree. Can you explain why we use the bare infinitive for the second verb?" Okay, this is a good question. I saw the boy the tree. What could it be? To climb the tree, climb the tree, climbing the tree. Okay, climbed the tree. Okay, which one is correct? Two of them are correct. And this question is asking, why do we use climb? It's because of the verb saw. This is like a verb of the senses, like see, hear, feel, and touch, and so on. And these are followed normally by the object. I saw, what did I see? I saw the boy. And this is a verb pattern. And then it's followed by the verb without the infinitive. I saw the boy climb the tree. I saw the dog cross the road. I heard the door open. All of these are the same form when you're talking about these verbs of see, hear, touch, etc. You can also use the ing form. So you could say, I saw the boy climbing the tree. That's also correct. So climb or climbing are both possible, but that's basically what it is. Any of these kind of sense verbs, see, hear, feel, listen, etc. Not listen, listens to, uh, watch, etc. Any of those. Okay. Uh, there you go. I think that's the answer. I think I've answered the person whose name I forgot to include question. Um, okay, let me just check how many all of your questions first to see. Yeah, uh, what I'm doing now is I'm scrolling through all your questions, and you've got a lot already. So I'm not going to spend much more time on last week's question, but I have one more from Samira Jahan. That's a really good question. So I will answer this one from last week. Samira's asking, I don't know why the text looks like in bold this week. That's weird, but never mind. So Samira's asking, can you explain the difference between imply and infer with examples? Yes, I can. People often get confused by this, but it's actually not that complicated. It's like lend and borrow. People often get confused by that. But really, when you break it down, it's not as difficult as you think. Uh, imply means to suggest something. It means that you kind of, you suggest something without saying it directly. So if I'm listening to you speaking, you say something, and you don't say directly what you mean or what you want, but I can understand what you mean. What's kind of between your words in a way. Okay, so when you suggest something in a way like that without saying it directly, then you imply something. Infer is just from the other side. When you imply something, I understand, I can kind of work out, I can deduce what you mean or what you really want to say. And that is infer. So, an example sentence. Okay. in a job interview, okay? In a job interview, because I mentioned job interviews and CVs a few minutes ago, if the interviewer says something to you like, okay, thank you for the interview. We'll also be interviewing some other candidates with more experience, okay? Now, they have not said you're not going to get the job. They have not said you don't have enough experience. They've implied by saying we'll be interviewing candidates with a lot more experience. They've suggested, they've implied the fact that maybe you don't have enough experience. Okay, that maybe you won't get the job. So they're implying that, yeah, good interview, we liked talking to you, but you really don't have that much experience. They're implying it. They're not saying it directly, but by talking about other people they'll be interviewing, they imply this. You, as the interviewee, go, oh no, okay, that's not good. It looks like I'm not going to get the job. So what you have done is you have inferred that. Okay, you've kind of worked it out, you've deduced, you've understood from what they said that maybe your chances are not so good. Okay, that maybe you don't have enough experience. They've implied you don't have enough experience, you've inferred that maybe you won't get the job. Okay, that's the difference. I hope that helps. And if anything's not clear, you can ask in the comments and I'll explain more. Okay, I'm going all the way back to the beginning of what now looks like hundreds of comments. I should probably shout out a few more countries as I scroll down to have a look and take a drink of coffee from my Doctor Who mug. Now that's a good cup of coffee. Okay. Okay. Sam Antonio is saying, I haven't watched your live streams in a while. Hope you're doing well. I'm still here, Sam. That's well, I think. Why haven't you watched this for so long? What? Okay, no problem. I'm glad that you're back, and I hope you watch some more. Unfortunately, this is your last chance until September, but I hope you'll come back in September and join us again. Okay, I can see some questions there. Algeria's there as well, joining us now. More people from Vietnam. Libya is here too. Okay, let me just read this question quickly to see if it's one that's. Okay, Jagji is asking, what's the difference between the following? This will take a moment to scroll up so I can speak very slowly while this happens. I'm not feeling well. Okay. I'm not feeling too well is another possibility. I'm not feeling very well. I'm not feeling so well. The difference, it's only really a question of kind of degree or emphasis. There's not really much difference between I'm not feeling well and I'm not feeling very well. The very there is really just an added in word, a conversational type word. It doesn't really add that much information. I'm not feeling too well. They really all mean the same thing. I guess these additions of like too and very. I'm not feeling so well today. They soften it a little. They soften that I'm not feeling well from just a blanket statement. I'm not feeling well. It's kind of, it doesn't have any personality about it or any personal thing about it. And if you say I'm not feeling too well, it still means I'm not feeling well. It's just a more friendly, more conversational, more personal way to say it. And really, in terms of the difference between them, there isn't really any difference in meaning. It's just I'm not feeling well is completely bald. It has no extra feelings or no extra conversational aspect, no other description. It's just a flat statement of fact. Whereas if I said, I'm not feeling too well today, it's something I would say in a conversation to someone. It makes it a bit more natural than just looking at them and going, I'm not feeling well. That's really all these are. They're just extra conversational elements. Kind of work with this. Okay. Jagjit, can I ask you one favor? Please do not post your questions multiple times because it blocks up the feed that I'm looking at for other people and causes problems. So I can see you posted the same question 8 times there. I saw the first one. You don't need to do that, okay? So please, for anyone, don't make multiple posts. If you ask and I don't answer for a long time, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, sure, you can post your question again, but do not make multiple posts, because it just blocks it up for other people, and it blocks it up for me because I then have to scroll 3 times as far to find the next question. Okay. Um, Gabrielle's here from Italy. Okay. Morocco. Okay. Lots of people from Egypt. Peru, there. I knew that Latin America would join us soon. Janet in Peru is there. And, oh, this is a wonderful name I'm going to try to say, and I will pronounce absolutely wrong. Tefin Janahari from Madagascar. That's a great name. I like that. Tefin Janahari. Tell me if my pronunciation was even slightly close to how it should be pronounced. Armenia is here as well. Okay. Esra, I think you've asked this question. Okay, this is a good question about AI. Now, as I think I mentioned to you before, I did a lesson a couple of weeks ago now on Tuesday on AI for English learning, and I shared lots of advice that's useful for teachers and students in it. And I will put the link to that in the comments in a little time. But Esther's asking, I'd like to ask about the future of teaching methods, and the role of the teacher in light of the presence of artificial intelligence. How can we harness AI? Okay, that's a big question. I think it's a very good question. I think that AI has changed everything. There's no doubt about that. It's changed learning for sure, because everyone who is watching this video now can use their AI assistant of their choice, ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or Grok or whatever one you prefer, uh, to talk about English and to practice English and to read, write, listen, and speak English with AI. And they can also get, lots of advice about study skills and plans and everything. So it's changed learning already a lot, I think, for students. For teachers, maybe a bit less so far. I know that many teachers use it for lesson planning, and some use it for things like reports and even checking students' writing and so on and things like that. But I think we're still kind of quite early in exploring the possibilities of AI from a teaching point of view. But there are many ways that it can be used. It's fantastic for creating resources. I in my live lesson last week, I gave an example where I took a chapter from Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and I took it from the original and turned it into a graded reader suitable for B1 intermediate students using ChatGPT, and also extracted all the useful vocabulary that they could work on from that. You couldn't do that, a year ago. Before, these only publishers really had the time, the ability to create graded versions of literature and then publish them. But now, they do AI does a fantastic job, and it can make any text readable for an intermediate level or pre-intermediate level student within that, and that opens up whole possibilities. It's a great way to get students reading that maybe before they were not so keen on maybe reading what was in their textbook, but they weren't ready yet to read actual English books or stories. And, either they had to buy expensive books or they had to use what they could find online for this. Now you, as a teacher, can make your own about any topic. And that goes for a lot of things. It's not just reading. It also works for listening. You can create wonderful audio podcasts and audio files using just AI. So you can take a text or something you want your students to study, and you can turn it into audio with language at the level that works for them. So there's so many things. But it's a huge question, and not one I can cover here. I could speak about it for hours, not just 5 minutes. But if you didn't watch my live lesson, let me just get the link for people. It's a great intro for teachers, I think, because it shows really practical uses of this, and for students as well, of course. But it shows really practical ways that you can use AI in the classroom, at home, as a teacher, or as a student. Uh, and I give all the examples and links and everything for that. So let me just find where that lesson is. Okay, that's a bit weird. I can't find it. Got it. Sorry. Okay. If you follow the link, I'm just going to put it into the chat now as live lesson AI. You'll find that in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. I would recommend just looking at that lesson, watching that, and you'll find all the links there that you need to help you, and you can practice with it. Okay. Ethiopia is here as well. Hi, Haptamu and Ganeto. Nicaragua, Milagros. Hi. Okay, good. Lots more. Blanca in Peru. Darkus Luigi from Colombia, another regular visitor. Okay, great. Okay, good. Right. Uh, I'm up to 11 of these same questions from you, Jagjit. So enough. Okay. Um, big question from Sam Antonio. Okay, I'll have to come back to that one later. It's a whole question about worldview and philosophy, which looks very interesting, but maybe a bit too complicated for this quick session that we have here today. Verab from Republic of Congo is there. Kwasi from Ivory Coast. Excellent. I was mentioning earlier we were waiting for more people from Africa to join us, and they seem to be here now as well. That's great. Okay, very quick question from Ziad Ahmed. Again, how can I improve my speaking? Well, my first suggestion is to visit our skills section on our Learn English website, and also to visit, especially, I'm going to put this link in the chat now. In a moment, once I find it. Especially a section that we have on our Learn English website, which is called Improve Your English Level. And it's really good because it has a lot, 30 or 40 blog posts. Okay, I've just put it in the chat as Improve Your English, almost, except for my typos and my misspelling. Hold on. Improve your English, almost. Improve my English is what I need to do there. I just typed improve your English. Okay, improve your English. There we go. It has about 30 or 40 blog posts in it that are specifically, it focuses on every detail: how to become more confident, how to practice, how to build your vocabulary, how to prepare for specific things like interviews or travel or anything like that, as well as all your other skills: reading, listening, and writing as well. Full of great advice. So my advice would be to start with our skills section. The link is in the comments, and to visit our Improve Your English section and just follow the advice there. And try one a week or something. Look at a blog post. It will give you some tips and advice on what to do with novels or stories, for example. Or it will give you tips on how to build your confidence for speaking in front of other people. Read the blog, follow the advice, practice it for a week or so. You'll definitely start to see a difference with that. And the other thing, of course, Ziad, two other things I'm going to say is speak. Speak to people. Don't think that you can only speak or that you have to speak to native speakers of English. That's nonsense and not true. If you're using English, it's helping you, whoever you're speaking with. Speak with your friends, speak with your family, speak with your colleagues. Whatever chance you have to speak English, take it and use it. Okay? Maybe if it's difficult because you're working and you don't have much time, maybe make time every week to say, okay, on Tuesday, I'm going to meet my friends and we're only going to speak English all evening. Okay? Make time for it like that. But speak. Use your English. You can read and listen to as much as you want, and you can watch as many videos about speaking as you want. But the only way that you will actually improve is by practice, is by doing it. So just don't be shy. Don't be worried. find opportunities to speak English, take them, and do it as much as you can, and that will help you improve. You can also use AI for this, but for that I can't talk about that now. Just check the lesson that I linked to in the comments, and you'll find some, if I do say so myself, fantastic advice from me on how to use AI to practice your speaking anywhere, alone, on any topic, at any level. Okay. Amber's asking, where am I? I'm here. I'm right in front of you. What do you mean? No, what you mean? What country am I in? At the moment, I'm in Slovakia. But as I say, I'm on holiday next month, so I will not be in Slovakia next month. But I don't know where I will be yet. This is another question about speaking. Follow everything I just said in the previous answer. But the last part I will say about without a speaking partner, unless you're in a very specific circumstance, you can almost always find some speaking partner. Okay. It could be, like I say, a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, a family member. I'm sure that you know someone else who also wants to learn English and practice English. That's all you need. They don't have to be better than you, they don't have to be experts. Just the process of communicating with each other in English and making each other understand what you want to say will help your speaking more than anything. Okay. So find a speaking partner would be my advice. Okay. Moving on. Okay. Carmen's here from Italy. How can I start? Okay, Charmin Actor is saying, I would like to begin IELTS now. How can I start this journey? Very good question. I don't know what. Sorry, coffee time. It's so good. In fact, it's so good, I'm going to pour more. Okay. I don't know what level your English is at the moment. I don't know what your target is, how long you plan to prepare, what you're aiming for. But the starting point, I think, can be the same for everyone. The thing about IELTS is that there are two different things to think about. The test itself is very specific. Okay, it has its own special types of questions and tasks and activities, and its own format and its own challenges. And you need to learn about that. You need to learn how the test works. You need to understand what will happen when you take the test, what type of questions you will be answering, what type of tasks you will be completing, and what success looks like, what you're aiming for. You need to know all of that, and you need to practice that. You need to practice taking tests and doing those different types of activities until they become easy and automatic for you. But the whole point of the IELTS test is not to be a test. The whole point of it is to check and measure your ability to use English in real life, your ability to listen and understand, your ability to speak and explain yourself, your ability to write clearly and correctly in a way that will be useful for you in study or work or any other aspect of life. And what did I say? What have I done? And of course, your ability to read and understand texts, whatever you're doing, whether they're for study or university, or whether they're for work, or whether they're for your life. Okay. So the purpose of the test is to measure and assess your ability to do all these things in real life. So the biggest part of preparing for IELTS is not the test practice and doing tests and just going through that again and again. The biggest part of preparing for IELTS is improving your global English skills, is working on your reading, writing, listening, speaking in real life, and to improve your vocabulary, improve your grammar, learn what you need to improve, work on the things you need to improve, and just basically get better in everything. And to do that, that involves the same thing I spoke about speaking. Basically, one of the first places to start is to try building English into your daily life. if you're not reading in English every day at the moment, start reading in English. Can be anything, websites, blogs, newspapers, anything that you like. But just start building up by reading a little English every day, listening to a little English every day, maybe watching TV, watching YouTube videos, watching TikTok, doesn't matter. But just so you're actually interacting and using English. That's very important. The same when it comes to productive skills like speaking and writing. Maybe at the moment you don't write anything in English or you write very little. You need to start. You need to build into your life every day or at least a few times a week an opportunity to write things in English. Could be anything. Could be keep a diary. Could be make notes. Could be write your shopping list in English. It could be send text messages to friends. And then you can build up to bigger things like essays and so on afterwards. But definitely build writing English into your weekly activities as well. And like with speaking, take every opportunity to speak that you can. Okay? So that's the main thing that I would say. Two things. One is focus on using English every day, just a little, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, enough. But use English for real life, reading what you like, watching or listening to something you like, writing about things that are interesting for you. And then at the same time, or a little later, start practicing with the exams and with learning about the questions and the tasks, and then using that English that you've been building up in context for the test. So again, I'm just going to show you the same thing again. I suggest very strongly visiting the skills section of our website as a place to begin, because you can choose your level. You can do our free test, find out your current level, and then you can start practicing all of these things: reading, writing, listening, and speaking that are important for IELTS. And not just with exams, but this teaches you everything from writing a text message to your friend to writing an essay for university. It has reading about everything from stories to articles to scientific papers, everything. Okay, so start there, practice all your skills, and then if I can just find where I've lost. Oh, okay. Oops. I forgot to share something. And here it is. And visit our Take IELTS page. Okay, the Take IELTS page, our website, rather, has a section which basically helps you from beginning to end. It will give you a guide. It will say many of the things I just said, but it will also give you a lot more. It will explain the test in detail. It will show you all the different question types, and it will let you practice them. And then it will give you advice about what's difficult about them. And then you can take practice tests online free here as well to find out how you're doing and to judge your level. So if you do those three things, involve English in your daily life, use the skills section on our website, and use the IELTS resources on our Take IELTS website, you have basically everything that you need for that. And then once you move along your journey a little more, you can start thinking about taking a course and actually going on an IELTS course at the British Council if there's one in your city, or online if you want as well. Okay, you can take a course to then get you to that final level, to get you to where you need to go and really focus on improving all your strengths. If you follow that advice, I guarantee you will very quickly start to see progress, and you'll very quickly start to feel that you're getting somewhere towards your goal and your target. Afghanistan here as well. Sawtun Minzaz saying, no Myanmar. Do I know Myanmar? I've been in Myanmar. Yes, I have. Yes, only once. But it was a wonderful experience, actually. Really lovely people and a beautiful country. You know, Obviously there are some problems as well, but it's like I visited it, and I would love to go back. Absolutely beautiful, and great food as well, I have to say. Okay, um, okay. Mm. I'm going to share this question, A, because it's a fun one that we've never had before, and B, because I have absolutely no idea of the answer, but maybe we can crowdsource it among all the people that are watching. How do you differentiate between Boeing and Airbus? I have no idea. It's one of the you can obviously tell by the design and the shape and so on, but it's always one of the first things I check when I get on a plane. Because the information is always on the card, and I like to know for various reasons, but I have no idea. Maybe someone who's more expert than me can tell you in the comments. Maybe it's something to do with where the engines are placed or something else. The shape of the wings or the tail or something. I don't know. Okay. Darkest Luigi, I'm not actually sure what you mean in your question. Hold on, let me just see if I can find anything online that helps me with this. I'm not finding anything from my first look here. So just let me know. Okay, I'm going to pop your question up. You're saying, what about the verb set? Do you just mean the verb set, as in set down or set off or things like that? Or is this some special tool or system or something that you're asking about? If you're just asking about the verb, I guess I can help. Most often, I think the most common use of set is in phrasal verbs. We use it in phrasal verbs like set up, meaning to put something together for the first time, to organize it and arrange it. So you can set up a meeting or you can set up a table, lots of things like that. Set off, meaning to start a journey or go away someplace. Uh, we also use it as a kind of synonym for put. So you can set something down. For example, I set down my bag means I put down my bag. There's no difference in the meaning, but it's just another possibility for that. As a verb, what else can I think of for set? So set off, set up, set down. We use it for things like set the table, meaning to put the forks and knives and spoons and perhaps plates out on the table ready for a meal. Any other ones coming into my mind? What else? What else? What else? What else? Set down, set off, set up. Yeah, nothing else is springing into my mind at the moment. Hold on, set. Okay. These ones have all involved set something down, set off on a journey. We can also use it to mean. I just remembered this. When something goes from like a soft kind of liquid or whatever into solid, we can use set. So, for example, I don't know if you know jelly, like jelly, Jello in American English. You make it with boiling water and a kind of gelatine thing, and then you put it in the fridge, and it goes solid. And they would say the jelly sets. Okay, the jelly took 20 minutes to set. That's another use of set that I can think of. At that point, I'm really running out of ideas. So if that wasn't your question and you were asking about some special word set, then explain that and I'll try and answer. Okay. Yep. Maria's just going, oops, I forgot to add cream to my coffee. Hold on. Maria's just following up on our earlier question. Yeah, I saw the boy climb the tree. Yeah, I saw the boy climbing the tree. Yeah, I mean, it could be that. It could be part of the action, or it could be that you saw them kind of in the middle of the action during that, while that was happening. Exactly. Okay. Okay. How are we doing for time? Not bad. We're moving. I hope. I hope I'm not speaking too quickly today because we seem to be moving quite fast. We've got through a lot of questions in a good time so far. Maybe it's because it's the last one before the holiday and I just want to get everything done. Nasrat Shah is asking, relative pronouns, especially which and that, confuse me. Where to use which and where to use that? Okay, I have good news and bad news. Nah, I think it's all good news for you here. Okay, first of all, let's just refresh your memory that there are two types of relative clause. There are what we call defining relative clauses, and those are relative clauses that you must have in the sentence because they explain which thing you're talking about. Okay? So if I say, for example, the cup, the mug is a Doctor Who mug, you would look at me. If I just walked into the room and said to you, the mug is a Doctor Who mug, you would look at me and think there was something wrong with me. You would go, what mug? What Doctor Who? What are you talking about? I have no idea what you mean. And I would say, the mug is a Doctor Who mug. And you would look at me again and go, what? Because there's not enough information. Okay? Uh, So a defining relative clause gives you that essential information so that you know which mug I'm talking about. So if I said the mug which I showed you earlier, or the mug that I showed you earlier is a Doctor Who mug, okay? Now you have enough information. You know what mug I'm talking about. Or the mug that I'm holding, okay? Now, the mug that I'm holding is a Doctor Who mug. The mug, okay, that's a non-defining, that's a defining relative clause. You need the information to tell you which mug. And the good news, this is the good news for you. When it's a defining relative clause like that, you can use that or which. Either one is correct. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to stress. You don't have to think, what am I going to do? Whatever one pops into your head is correct. Okay, that and which, exactly the same. Also, when you're talking about people, that and who. The person that I saw yesterday, or the person that lives next door, has lots of cats. The person who lives next door has lots of cats. Again, notice that if I say the person has lots of cats, you have no idea what I'm talking about or why. So you need that extra information. I think I can probably take away the IELTS stuff by now, can't I? Yes, you need that extra information. I have a bad memory and bad eyesight as well, since it was right in front of my face. Anyway, you need that extra information. The person that lives next door, the person who lives next door, to know who I'm talking about. Okay, so that is what a defining relative clause does. And with those, you can use that or which, no difference in meaning, that or who, no difference in meaning. Now, the other type of relative clause is the one which is a non-defining relative clause, which is not necessary. It's not essential. It's just extra information. Okay. I'll give you an example in a moment. What that means is that it's separate from the main part of the sentence. Okay. So I could say, for example, this mug is a Doctor Who mug. That's a good sentence. It's complete. It's really annoying me just holding this mug up when I want to be drinking the coffee, but never mind. Okay, I can show you the other side as well because it's very pretty. Like, anyway, this mug is a Doctor Who mug. Okay, that's fine. That's a complete sentence. You can see the mug. You know what mug I'm talking about. Now you know it's a Doctor Who mug. I could add extra information into that. I could say, my daughter gave me this mug. Okay, and sometimes my Scottish pronunciation makes people think I'm saying doctor. No, not doctor, daughter. My daughter. My daughter gave me this mug. That's extra information. You don't need to know it. I don't need to tell you it, but it's interesting. So when we put that into the sentence, this mug, which my daughter gave me, is a Doctor Who mug. Okay? That's a non defining relative clause. It's extra information. You have a comma before it and a comma after it, or the way you're looking at me, sorry, a comma before it and a comma after it. And you cannot use that. You must use which there. Okay, so that's the rule. Simple as that. When it's extra information, non-defining relative clause, and you can take it out and it's got commas, or it should have commas, and if you're writing it, you need to put them in, then you can only use which. Okay? Not that. Never that. Okay? I could not say this mug. Okay, never mind. I won't go through it again. But that's basically it. So that's the difference. Defining relative clauses, you can use which or that, both, no difference in meaning, up to you. Non-defining relative clauses, you need to use commas when you write, perhaps a slight pause when you speak, and you can only use which. I hope that was quite a long answer, but I got to show you my mug, so I'm happy. Uh, that's quite a long answer, Nasrat, but I hope that has helped you there. Okay. Okay, just give me 1 second. I just need to send a message to someone. Right. Sorry about that. Just a slight problem popped up there that I just need to resolve. Okay, more countries there. Tajikistan and Tunisia. All the T's in there. Senegal. Okay, Mustafa, hi in Senegal. Algeria. Mexico. Jasmine. Okay, hi. Good morning. I guess it's very early for you, I guess. Okay. Okay. Right. I'm going to put this one up. It's a little bit. I need to get this just clear. Gabrielle is saying, what's the difference between to plus the verb infinitive, so to go or to see, and to plus ing? Okay. This is not so difficult. Most of the time, okay, and I mean most, almost all the time, when you see to followed by a verb, it's going to be the infinitive form. It could be for different reasons. It could be for a verb pattern. It could be because it's the purpose of something. I'm going to the shops to buy some food. Okay, the infinitive of purpose. Why answers the question. Why am I going to the shops? To buy some food. Most of the time, that is what you see. The only time that to is followed by the ing form is when it's not the infinitive verb, but it's actually a preposition. And prepositions are always followed by nouns or noun phrases or gerunds. Okay? And the most famous or the most common example that you will see of this is look forward to. Okay? In look forward to, the to is a preposition. It's not part of the verb that comes after or anything to do with that. It's a preposition. It means, from here to sometime in the future. I look forward to. So what happens then is it must be followed by a noun or it must be followed by a gerund. So I'm looking forward to blank you. Maybe I should be careful about my wording here. You could put an email to somebody, so that you haven't seen for some time, okay? That you're going to see them next week or something. And so you can say, I'm looking forward to seeing next week. It has to be ing. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week because the to is a preposition. So it has to be followed by ing. And you can always test this in any sentence. If you're writing a sentence and you're not sure, because there are other times other than look forward to, but that's the most famous one. So the easiest one for you to start with. Any phrasal verb that ends in to would have the same result, and some other constructions. But the easy way to check it is basically you just take out the verb and replace it with a noun. And if the sentence still makes sense, then you know it's a preposition. So I could say, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Perfect. Let's throw that away. I'm looking forward to lunch. I'm looking forward to my next cup of coffee. Okay. I'm looking forward to my holiday. I'm looking forward to Christmas. You see, all of these are nouns or noun phrases, and they all fit in that space after to. So that tells you that if you're using a verb form or a verb base word, a word that comes from a verb, it must be ing. It must be a gerund. So I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'm looking forward to going on holiday. I'm looking forward to eating lunch. I'm looking forward to having dinner. All of these, okay, must be followed by the ing because it's a preposition. That's basically all there is to it. All the other times, it will be the infinitive. Um, so I hope that's helped, and I hope that's made it clear for you. And that's, maybe someone has pointed this out to you. Maybe you write a letter or something, and you say, "I look forward to see you next week," and they say that's wrong, and you're wondering why. That's why. Okay. Jose in Peru and Neil in Peru. It's really funny. Like countries, they seem to. I don't, unless Jose and Neil are in the same place in the same room. Countries, they seem to join together at the same time. It must be something to do with the way that the message goes out on Facebook or something. Because I get like a lump of people from Peru. Earlier, I had people from. I can't remember some Algeria and stuff, and they all come on at the same time. Three in a row. Three in a row. Jose, Neil, and Katya, all from Peru. Welcome to all three of you. Peru would be top of my list, I think, of countries to go on holiday to, but very expensive to get to from here, unfortunately. But maybe if I find a cheap flight. Okay. Cameroon is there as well. Okay, wonderful. Okay. HM's asking a quite interesting question. What's the difference between don't sass me, I would say don't be rude with me rather than don't get rude with me, don't insult me. Uh, okay, the first one is very informal. It's also, I don't know if it's still used much or not. It's maybe a little bit old fashioned as well. I'm not sure that we still talk about sass so much. I'll need to check that, but it's very informal. So you would not use that with a stranger or with even someone at work or anything like that. It's something that maybe a parent might use with a child, for example, or a grandparent with a child. Uh, in fact, I think in context, I haven't seen it for many years. So I think in context, I think that's probably the most common use is like parent to child is when a child is being rude with a parent. They might say that. So don't be rude with me. Don't be rude with me. Don't hmm, don't be rude to me. Don't be rude. I wouldn't actually include the with me or to me or anything at the end. I would just simply say don't be rude. That's it. Um, not don't get rude. Don't nothing rude. But no with me. But just don't be rude. That's enough. That's a more slightly more formal or more neutral. You can use that in any context. I think. You could even use that if you were very assertive and you weren't afraid of losing your job. You could even use it with your boss. Uh, but it's don't be rude. It's a factual, neutral, could be formal, could be semi-formal statement. That's fine. You could use it in any kind of context with anyone. Use it with a stranger. If somebody is pushing in front of you to get onto a bus or something, you could say, "Don't be rude." Okay, fine. That's no problem. So the first one, very informal, probably parent to child relationship. Second one, change it to just don't be rude. Neutral can be used with everyone. Don't insult me is a little different because insult means that someone has said something about you or to you that is quite negative. Okay, so that's a slightly different thing from being rude because rude is a much broader. See, my coffee's making me burp. I'm sorry. Rude is a much wider, much broader word with many more uses. It could be something someone says. It could be something someone does. Lots of the way that someone's behaving. There's lots more possibilities. So don't insult me. It would be basically if somebody is saying something to you that's very negative and perhaps hurtful, and you would say, "Don't insult me." Okay, so that's the difference there. But in most circumstances, basically, if you're just talking about somebody being rude, the easiest one is don't be rude. You can, if you don't know them very well, you could add please, of course, and say, "Look, please don't be rude." Okay. You could also say something like, "There's no need to be rude." That's another possibility. Okay, Kyrgyzstan is here as well. Okay, I like when Kyrgyzstan joins, just because I love to say Kyrgyzstan. Uh, okay. Uh, okay. Quick follow up for Jagji is asking which is correct. I'm very well, or I'm so well. You wouldn't use "so" in the positive sentence. Okay, you just say I'm well. I'm quite well. I'm very well. That's fine. Don't use "so." Okay. El Salvador is here as well. Good. El Salvador's not such a regular visit, I think. So, hello, James in El Salvador. New Zealand, Alaftina. We do get news occasionally. You're here, but not too often. But that's great. Lots more. And Laos. Okay, another country I was in many years ago that I would love to go back to. Another beautiful country. I said at the beginning that this might help me think about where to go on holiday, but it's just depressing me because it's reminding me of all the beautiful countries that I would love to go to that I don't think I can. Okay, but maybe we'll see. Bolivia is here. Phoebes Aramoya from Bolivia. Great. Okay. Right, we're almost out of time now, so I'm just scrolling through to look for a couple of last questions. Oh, that's a long one. Okay, there's a good comment here. I'm not going to discuss it because it's long and it's more a comment than it is a question. But if for the people who are asking about this, you might want to check this comment from Brahimi, who's talking about AI and teachers and giving some opinions and thoughts on that. So you might want to have a look at that. Okay. Esra's saying, please save the recording. They're all saved. Well, actually, on Facebook, you're watching on Facebook. They're only saved on Facebook for 30 days. So you can come back and watch it for 30 days, but don't forget because then they go. But on YouTube, they're there permanently. So just find our YouTube channel. The link is on our Facebook page, and they're all there, as well as lots of other videos, of course, on YouTube. So you can find them there. Just go to the live tab and you can find them there. Okay. Am I a native speaker? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I was, I'm Scottish. From Scotland. So some people are sometimes, cruel about Scottish people's English and say they can't understand them. But I think you can all understand me perfectly. And of course, yes, English is my first. And to be honest, I speak a couple of other languages poorly. So English is really my first and best and main language. Okay. Almost finished. Just a couple minutes more. Going back to AI, do you think a free AI app can help? AI app can help improve English proficiency. The answer to that is yes, absolutely. But I can't go into it in detail just now because it's too big a topic. Follow the link. I'll put the link in again for everyone. Okay, hold on. I'll put the link in again for anyone that missed it or anyone that joined late. I've put it down this time as AI lesson, and you will find the link in the chat on Facebook and YouTube. Watch that lesson, and it shows you many ways to practice using. Oops, the recording started playing. You were asking about the recording. There you go, still there. It will tell you how to use AI for free to practice grammar, to learn vocabulary, to practice speaking, reading, and writing, and how to check your English and so on and get feedback. All of that for free. And absolutely, the answer is yes. Okay, good question from Sabine here. How do I know when you go live? What days and what time? Well, the bad news is that because this is your first time, you've joined on the worst day possible because this is the last time I will be live until the first week of September. I will miss it because I really love these sessions every week. I hope that you'll miss it as well. Some of you come every week, so I'm sure you must either enjoy these or you just like to come along to um, see if I've changed my hair or something. I don't know, but this is the last one for a while. The last one until the first week of September. But the schedule is the same, and this is the schedule. On Tuesdays at 12:30 UK time, we have a live grammar lesson with Joe, sometimes with me, sometimes with Zena. Uh, but it's a lesson, so we'll look at one grammar point or one area of vocabulary, and it's a live lesson for 1 hour every Tuesday, 12:30 UK time. I'm here on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. UK time, and I will be back. My nose is incredibly itchy. Sorry about that. I will be back on September the 3rd. Okay, will be the next meeting like this. So put it in your diaries now so you don't forget, and join me on September the 3rd. And I can tell you all about my holiday, which I hope will not involve me just sitting in my living room. So I hope I'll have something to tell you about. Okay, last question, I think. Sorry about this, my nose. Mm, okay, Sam Antonio. Good. I'm glad watching Sense and Sensibility is great. Again, I refer you to my AI lesson. I use Pride and Prejudice in that, but the principle would be the same with Sense and Sensibility. The book is free. It's out of copyright, of course. You can get it anywhere online. And then if you use AI in the way I suggest in my lesson, it will make it easier and more accessible for you to read. And that will help you, of course, when it comes to watching the film. Uh, and you can do it side by side with AI as well. So you can have the original and the modern English simplified version, and you can compare them. Look at the vocabulary. You can learn the difficult vocabulary. So much that you can do with it, and then watch the film as well. And don't worry about understanding every word in a film. That's always going to be difficult. But just follow the story, enjoy the movie for what it is, and that will really help you. And you'll be familiar, and you can compare it with what you read. Lots of ways to help you there. But watch the AI lesson because that will answer you much better. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes over now, but I'm still trying to get to that last question that I wanted. Philip, I'm not sure I can advertise for the brand, but it's an Italian brand that do Rosso and Gold versions of coffee, and it is delicious. I love so many different types of coffee. I love coffee from Indonesia as well. Great coffee from Brazil. But no, this is like the regular Italian brand, famous brand that you will see in your supermarket, and I think Crema something ones as well, and Rosso and Gold. Oro, Rosso and Oro. Sorry, I forgot my Italian there for a moment. Okay, that was a good question, but I don't know if I can, really make that the last question that I answer about my cup of delicious, although no longer hot coffee. Okay, I'm almost at the end of your hundreds of questions now, and there might not be a good, like, short last question. Okay, here's a nice, easy one. Finally. Okay, Hamza. Uh, okay, what's the difference between tough and rough? Uh, Good question. I mean, the one good thing about them is, words spelled OUGH in English can be incredibly difficult to pronounce because, they can be pronounced so many different ways: bow, through, not, truff, etc., 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 bought, all of these. Luckily, tough and rough are pronounced exactly the same, so pronunciation is not a problem. The meaning, okay, uh, it depends on the context. Okay, if you're talking about like the physical qualities of something, then tough usually would mean something that was hard wearing and not easy to damage and that would last for a long time. Okay, So you could talk about this, this leather bag is very tough and hard wearing. It means you can take it anywhere, do anything with it, throw it about, and it won't break. Rough is the opposite of smooth. If you're talking about materials, like we're talking about here, okay. So the table is very smooth. My cheek is quite rough because I forgot to shave this morning. Opposite, smooth and rough. If you're talking about things like difficulty, uh, oh, I've had a tough day. Uh, Tough there would be a synonym for difficult. Uh, if you say I've had a rough day, it has a slight difference in meaning, which would mean that it's been not only difficult, but difficult kind of in a negative way. Perhaps some bad things have happened, or things have gone wrong, or I've had some real problems. So if I come home after work and I say, I'm really tired, I've had a tough day, that could just mean I've had a lot of work. It's been very busy, like basically every day of my life. Uh, okay, but if I come home and say, I've had a rough day, it could mean the same thing, but it's more likely to mean that I had a lot of problems today, a lot of difficulties. Things did not go, we said rough and smooth, things did not go smoothly. Okay, things did not go well. It was a rough day. So that's the best. I don't know the context you're asking about, but I think that covers everything. For materials, tough means hard wearing, that it doesn't damage easily and that it will last a long time. Rough means not smooth, that the surface feels to the touch, that it's not smooth, that it's got bits sticking out or sharp parts or whatever. Uh, Difficulty, tough and rough. Tough just means difficult. It's a synonym for difficult. That exam was tough. That exam was difficult. Okay, you wouldn't say that exam was. If you said that exam was rough, then it means it was really difficult and bad, and you think maybe you failed because you had a lot of problems. So that's really the difference. Tough just means difficult in general. Rough means with a lot of problems, also very difficult and hard, perhaps, but with a lot of problems and negative experiences. Okay, that was literally my last question now. I'm just scrolling down to the very end, just in case, because it's our last one for over a month. Um, I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom just in case I've missed like the most important question in the world. This is not the most important question in the world, but I like it, so it doesn't matter. How many cups of coffee do you usually drink a day? Way more than I should. I usually start the day by drinking about 800 milliliters of coffee in 2 mugs. And it's quite strong. And then as the day goes on, I'll probably have another 3, maybe 4 cups of coffee. So I guess in smaller cups, that probably works out at like 8 cups a day, which is, I'm sure, not good for you. But I love coffee. What can I say? Okay, and this is just a good one because again, it's just reminding me of places I really, really, really would love to go if I could. Maybe we'll see. Okay. Um, Provide more materials. I'll just remind you all before I go, our website is filled with literally, and I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of hours worth of fantastic free practice activities. So visit our grammar section, visit our skills section, look around, visit our learning hub, visit the other link that you'll find in the comments. Go to the skills section, like I said, and practice all your skills. Just look around our website and you will find hundreds of hours, literally hundreds of hours of practice activities. Uh, of course, you can also check out our online courses as well, which are available all over the world and with discounts available at the moment as well, where you can join classes live online. Uh, and that's between all of that. Honestly, we have so much material for you to practice with. Uh, okay. Again, not a question, but I have a new camera. Can you tell? I got a new camera because I thought I was looking a bit fuzzy before, and I wasn't sure if I was actually fuzzy in real life or not, so I had to check. So I got a new camera, and I realized no, I'm actually quite sharp. Okay. Um, yep. And Maria's just added basically a written version of the things I said earlier. So for the person who was asking about relative clauses, check out our grammar section on our website, read Maria's comment, and just remember that and practice it, and you'll be fine. Okay. This you're. It's been a busy day. Your list of questions is never ending. I'm just trying to get to the end, as I say, to make sure that I don't miss, like something really important before I go. But there are so many. Okay, last one. Honestly, tried Colombia. I have tried Colombian coffee, and I love it as well. Absolutely. Uh, okay. I'm glad we're talking about coffee because it's a subject that makes that I enjoy and that I wouldn't say I'm an expert in, but with the amount of coffee and coffees that I drink and the amount of different coffee making machines and tools that I've bought over the years, uh, it's certainly something I can talk about for a long time. Okay, I'm scrolling really fast now because I really need to get to the end. Okay, that's it. Done. We're done. Okay, very last question. I will just do this one. Is it possible to get 8+ in IELTS with having a band score of 6 within 6 months? Anything is possible, to be honest. I mean, if you spent that 6 months like immersed in English in an English speaking country, really working hard every day and putting in all the time, yes, it would be possible. Uh, but two things: it would be unlikely in 6 months to go from basically band six, which is like uh, the beginning of advanced level, up to band eight, which is like the upper end of the kind of proficiency C2 level. That would be like almost moving up two whole stages in the framework in 6 months. So it would be unlikely. But it's very unusual to need eight for anything. Maybe you do, but generally for universities, for migration, for the visas, everything else, even to practice as a doctor and so on, the level they need is 7.5 in the UK. So it's very unusual to need 8+. But, anything is possible, but I would say 6 months would be ambitious. Okay. But, again, it depends on your personal situation and so on within that. But, unless you really need 8+, I would focus on getting what you need and making sure that you get there in 6 months. And that you can definitely do. Okay. Right. I'm done. Okay. I really have to go. I'm way over schedule today, but it's the last one. So we'll let it pass. Okay. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for your questions. If it's summer for any of you, and if you're having a holiday or something, enjoy your holiday. Wish me luck with mine because I have no idea where I'm going, no idea what I'm going to do, and no idea how much it's going to cost. So I'll have to worry about all these things. But I will do something next month, and I will see you all on the 3rd of September. Okay? So bye for now. Thanks again. See you soon.